So to set off, we always need gear 1. So as we did before, we're going to use our POM routine to set off. So we're going to put the clutch all the way down. We're going to select gear 1. And we're going to prepare the car by lifting the clutch ever so lightly so we can feel that small pivot that we talked about in lesson 1. Now, at this point, we're going to introduce a little bit of acceleration. We want to make sure that the revs are around 2000 on the rev counter. So I'm going to squeeze a little bit of gas and we're going to hold our feet steady at that. So this is the preparation part done. The next thing is observation. So I'm checking round and I'm checking that nothing is coming around me or that no vehicles are coming down the road and I will cause them to slow down. As I'm happy it's clear, I'll release the handbrake and I'm holding my feet completely still. And as you can see, the vehicle will start to move. Now, once we get to 5 miles an hour, I can come completely off my clutch pedal. And this is because gear 1, its range is from around 5 miles an hour at its minimum up to around about 10 to 15 miles an hour at its maximum. Now, it can go higher than this, but the problem if you go higher is your revs are going to be too high. So if I start to accelerate now, you can see my speed is going up and this is fine. But you can also hear that engine noise is getting louder. So you don't want to overwork your vehicle. So this is where you would change to gear 2. So gear 2's minimum, where it starts, is around 10 miles an hour. So at 10 miles an hour, I can technically change to gear 2. But of course, I've got to think about the state of the road. Is it uphill, is it downhill, or is it flat? If it's flat like it is here, we should be able to change gear now because I'm at 14 miles an hour. But if it was uphill, we'd have to push it a little bit higher because there's going to be a little bit of time to change gear. To change gear then, we have to come off our acceleration pedal and put our clutch pedal down all the way immediately. Now we can change to gear 2. So from gear 1, we will pull back and select gear 2. Now we're going to lift our clutch back up slowly to our biting point and apply that little bit of acceleration again to keep the car moving. Now I'm going to stop, so I'm going to do our mirror, signal, and I'm going to press the brake gently and put the clutch all the way down. Again, it's really important that the clutch goes all the way down because if the clutch is still up slightly, the car will still be trying to pull you at that 5 miles an hour minimum speed that gear 1 would like to do. If you were in gear 2 like we were, well, it's going to try and pull us along at 10 miles an hour. So it's important to know the minimums of the gears so that you can know when to put the clutch all the way down. So I'm going to turn the car around and we're going to have another go and we're going to progress up to gear 3. The method that we're using generally when we're moving off and stopping is the mirror signal maneuver method. We need to make sure we check our mirrors to make sure that we know if there's a vehicle behind us that our indicator would be needed, or if the vehicle behind us is close, that we might need to indicate to give them a little bit more time to think about what we're doing. So you'll get used to mirror signal maneuver as a general, procedure. So we're going to set off again. I'm going to run through the gears again, and this time we're going to progress to gear 3. Now, if you think of each gear as having a range of speed that it likes to do, this starts to frame what gear is used for different scenarios. So for instance, gear 1 is used for slow speeds, and the range is, like I said, around 0 if the clutch is all the way down, 5 miles an hour if the clutch is all the way up, and then up to 10 to 15 miles an hour if we're accelerating. Gear 2 takes over at 10 miles an hour with the clutch all the way up, and then you can get up to 25, even 30 miles an hour, but again, the revs will be high at that point. So gear 3 takes over at 15 miles an hour, and that's the minimum of gear 3, but it can push up to 40, 50 miles an hour even at its maximum. And it just goes up onwards and onwards. So you'll see that now. So again, preparation, so clutch down, gear 1, and we're going to set our biting point. So we're lifting up slowly to the point where we feel that pivot, and we're going to squeeze a tiny bit of acceleration around the 2000 revs. Observations, again, checking round, making sure it's clear, indicating to move away. Handbrake comes off, keeping our left foot exactly where it is. As soon as we see 5 miles an hour, we can come off the clutch, because remember that's that gear's minimum. And then we're going to progress up to gear 2. So I'm at around 13 miles an hour. So I'm going to come off the gas, clutch all the way down into gear 2, and then clutch back up slowly to the biting point, and then back on that acceleration pedal again. So you can see the range is going up again. So now I'm near 17 miles an hour. I'm above 15, which is, remember, gear 3's minimum. So I can get gear 3. So again, I'm going to come off the gas pedal as I put the clutch immediately down, select gear 3, which is into the middle and up, and then lift the clutch slowly, and again with that little bit of acceleration. Now you can see it did drop down to 13 miles an hour, so it doesn't have to be exactly at 15, but I'm giving you something to go by. And in your vehicle, it might vary. You might get a little bit more speed out of each gear at its minimum, or it might need to be changed a bit later at its maximum. But as you can see there, now we're going to pull over again. So mirror, signal, as I'm braking, clutch all the way down, and I'm going to stop here. Now you can see there we stopped in gear 3. So how did that work? The reason you can stop in any gear is because, take that off, is because when your clutch is down, you are technically in no gear. Think of that as being neutral, and it means that you can stop your vehicle in any scenario. So we tend to want to gear down when we are approaching things that we might need to carry on at. So, as mentioned, when we are approaching something that we need to slow down for, to turn, or to deal with if it's, say, a meeting situation or a set of traffic lights, because these situations can develop and we might be able to actually carry on, we want to make sure that we are gearing down on approach to things. Now, it's the same rules. So as you're speeding up, you're gearing up. As you're slowing down, you're gearing down. So let's look at that now. So I'm going to speed up to gear 3's range, and then I'm going to slow the vehicle down, right back down to gear 1, and that range that gear 1 can do. Can you remember what that range was? Let's see. So preparation, again, setting the biting point, squeezing a little bit of gas. I can feel the pivot, so I know I'm good. Checking round to make sure it's clear, and signaling to move away. And as I'm moving, I'm holding that clutch still. Let's get to 5 miles an hour, and then I will release that clutch slowly. As I accelerate, I'm going to select gear 2. So off the gas, clutch down, gear 2, clutch back up slowly, and back on the gas. Okay, now to gear 3, off the gas, clutch down all the way, into the middle and up, clutch up slowly, and back on the gas. The gas being reapplied is just to keep that momentum going. It's not always necessary. When slowing down then, remember we have a minimum of each gear. So I know in gear 3 I can slow down to 15 miles an hour before I have to even put the clutch down. So I can go to my brake pedal and start pressing that brake pedal gently. Now look at the speed. Now I'm going to put the clutch down while still braking and go to gear 2. I can lift the clutch up in gear 2 now, because remember gear 2's minimum is 10. You see, I'm off the brake now because I don't want to cause the car to struggle. But I'm going to pull up, so mirror, signal. So now I can press the brake, put the clutch down, and come down to gear 1. And I can lift the clutch back up again because look, it's at 5 miles an hour. You see that? Okay. And then if I want to fully stop, brake gently, clutch down, and that is my full stop to 0. Handbrake goes on, out of gear, and cancel the signal. So it's a little bit of a short one with the gears, and as you can imagine, gears will be incorporated into lots of things we do. So steering and gearing is kind of, you know, they go hand in hand, because if you want to go around a corner, you are probably going to need to be in gear 2 if it's a standard corner, or gear 1 if it's a tight corner. And approaching things as well, you'll change gears depending on the speed that you want your car to go. Best way to think of it is set the speed of the car to what you're dealing with, and make sure the gear matches that. I'll see you in the next video, which will be about steering and gears at the same time, which also incorporates our junction work and starts to get us moving along to more meaty subjects. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.